is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Off the top, we begin with a developing story out of Miami. We just heard from Mayor Suarez. He updated us on the status of the victims in a massive apartment fire and shooting. Let's take a listen.
We have rescued over 40 people that were in the building, and I say rescued, there were people that were evacuated through balconies. There was an explosion right after that evacuation, and our firefighters have demonstrated a tremendous amount of heroism battling this fire since 8 o'clock, and they're still battling it at this moment, thankfully under much better circumstances than were earlier throughout the day.
An investigation is currently underway. Flames and billowing smoke could be seen for miles. The fire raged out of control this morning. CBS News Miami's Peter Dinch is at the scene with the story.
We are at the scene of a massive fire at the Temple Court Apartments at 431 North 3rd Street near downtown Miami. Authorities say they received a call about the fire at 8:15 this morning and found a man had been shot here up on the 3rd floor. It's not known if that is connected to this blaze, a very stubborn blaze. At least 30 people were rescued, many of them elderly. At least one person was taken to the hospital, along with 2 firefighters suffering from heat exhaustion.
So at approximately 8:15 this morning, we got several calls referencing a fire at this location behind us next to Loomis Park in downtown. We arrived on the scene. We found that one person had been shot. That person has been transported to JMH Hospital. At the same time, our firefighters responded to this fire and saw that this fire was escalating in intensity. They rescued several people, including some people that were rescued from their balconies. The fire is continuing, and now they have come outside of the building to fight the fire from the outside in. It is an active investigation, an active scene, so we don't have much details referencing the number of people that were in the building, that have come out of the building. What we do know is that we have a staging area here for residents.
Coming up at 5 in just an hour, we will have the latest on this story. In Miami, Peter Dench, CBS News Miami.
And we are speaking to victims of that devastating fire. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor will have an update on those victims coming up tonight at 5. CBS News Miami will continue to follow this developing story. Stay with us on air and online for new information.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, calm right now, but a flood watch has been issued for all of South Florida starting at midnight. Let's get right to Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera with the look ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy rain that continues for several days, and that's why the flood watch in anticipation of that is set up here. Conditions prime for flooding, because that's how much rainfall we're talking about, despite the fact that we're in a moderate to severe drought. So we're going to erase that rather quickly. So from tonight to Wednesday p.m., I think we're going to break this up into 2 parts. We're pretty certain about the first round here. That's going to be, again, for tonight, and this continues through Wednesday night with periods of heavy rain accumulating anywhere from 5 to 8 inches. The question is Thursday and Friday, do we get another batch of additional heavy rainfall? I think this would be beneficial, the first part for us, because of the drought. The second part, not good, because that would get us, I think, into some double digits here. So we'll have to watch the forecast models closely here and see what the trends are. Right now, still looking at a couple of showers moving in. The flow now from south to north. I think if you're stepping out tonight, you're looking pretty good, except for the fact that we have additional showers that are going to start redeveloping. Question mark on that, on whether that begins to materialize. Haven't seen it yet, but just keep in mind we're going to hold that 20% rain chance to about 7 o'clock, and then after that, I think we're good with temps in the mid-80s. So this is the setup here. This moisture coming in out of the Caribbean, that's going to provide us with all the moisture we need. We're going to max out. So this is not anything organized, like check on the tropics in a second here. There's no low involved. All it is just the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. And so once thunderstorms start getting going here, they are going to tap into that and be able to squeeze out all the moisture possible, and it is maxed out. So we're looking at rainfall rates possibly between 2 and 3 inches an hour. Watch the clock here. We'll get rid of the showers for tonight, and then this is going to be a daylight and overnight event as well. So it's not going to be our typical afternoon storms. Here comes the first wave through the morning hours. That'll have some heavy rainfall. That'll pivot through, and we're just going to continue then with waves of rain here. Very difficult to time, but it doesn't matter really what time of day it is. We're going to have that through the day, and we're going to have it through the overnight periods. There you are through Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. We haven't shown you this kind of setup here in quite some time. So again, that is what's going to lead likely to the flooding. But in the tropics, nothing organized for the next 7 days. We're looking pretty good here, certainly across the central and eastern Atlantic. Really nothing out there with the wind shear up above that is going to, just to take care of anything that tries to get going here. But this is just, again, the abundant tropical moisture coming in from the north to northeast, coming out of the south. And there are the totals anywhere from 5 to as much as 8 inches. So that's the way things are going to shape up here. So plan for rain on and off, heavy at times through tomorrow. That continues again with the next alert through Wednesday. And then for Thursday and Friday, we're going to try to improve conditions here, but we're still looking at a pretty high chance of getting terrific amounts of rain in addition to what we have coming in the next 48 hours. But finally, in time for Father's Day, by then, we would have dried out nicely.
Ivan, thank you. South Florida is bracing for extreme weather. As CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten explains, we are getting prepared.
With heavy rain expected in the next few days, cities around South Florida are getting ready. You can see that there's vacuum trucks here in Hollywood that are working to try and clean out debris from catch basins. They've identified areas that they concentrate on before expected bad weather. The hope is that some preventative maintenance will ward off flooding.
And what they're doing is they're pumping out excess waste, garbage, and water that's sitting in that catch basin, again, to improve the flow of storm water going through the system and out of the city.
And there's things that you can do to lessen the chances of flooding around your home. We'll talk about that beginning at 5. In Hollywood, Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
Up next, a consumer alert, a recall from Publix. What you need to know when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Now to the latest in the Israel-Hamas war. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has returned to the Middle East. It's to urge leaders in the region to pressure Hamas to accept a ceasefire proposal. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
In his 8th trip to the region since the war in Gaza began, Secretary of State Antony Blinken delivered this message.
If you want a ceasefire, press Hamas to say yes.
The Biden administration says it's up to Hamas to accept a phased deal to halt fighting and release the remaining hostages. The diplomatic push comes 2 days after an Israeli mission rescued 4 hostages taken from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. Noah Argamani is now reunited with her father and her mother, who is dying of cancer. Almov Mair's loved one celebrated his return just in time for his mother's birthday.
I couldn't stop hugging him. I couldn't stop. So I got my present.
An emotion overcame Andrei Kozlov as he saw his family for the first time in 8 months. CBS News spoke to his brother Dmitry.
He's totally healthy. He's joking, he's laughing.
The Hamas-run health ministry says nearly 300 Palestinians were killed in the operation and subsequent fighting. Israel disputes that number. The rising death toll is adding to the political pressure on the Biden administration for a ceasefire.
We don't want our tax dollars being used to slaughter innocent civilians.
Protesters formed a red line in front of the White House this weekend saying the bloodshed must stop. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
A consumer alert. Publix Stores is recalling a brand of baby arugula. The recall impacts the Green Life Farms product. Routine testing found salmonella. The baby arugula has a sell-by date of June 15th. It was sold at Publix Stores on May 31st in 4-ounce plastic containers. If you have the baby arugula, return it to the Publix store where you bought it for a full refund. Now to the Panthers' hunt for the Cup. The Cats are gearing up for Game 2 tonight in Sunrise. They're hoping to get the win before the series shifts back to Canada. CBS News Miami's Joe Gorcho is in Sunrise, and that's where things will be action-packed there tonight.
Now, even if you don't have a ticket to climb up these wonderful steps and get inside the arena for the game, there are still plenty of ways you can enjoy this tremendous atmosphere outside of the arena here in Sunrise. The Panthers pregame and viewing party featuring DJ Khaled starts at 6 outside the arena in Lot C2. It's free for fans of all ages. If you're lucky enough to have tickets to Game 2, you can do both. Now, like the team, Panthers fans hope to keep the party going against the Oilers all day and all night. It will require cranking up the pressure, though, on the Oilers. Yes, Florida won Game 1, shutting out Edmonton 3-0. Head coach Paul Maurice, speaking on Sunday, called the first period, though, an anomaly. He didn't like how they played in the second, but really liked how the team closed the game in the third. So, his message, room for improvement, with an early Cup final lead already in the bag.
If you just play your best game, what does that look like? They don't touch the puck, right? We fight the extremes of this mentally as well. You lose a game, it's not the end of the world. You did some good things, you win a game, you're not that good. Was kind of my starting point and that would have been the theme and the idea. Is there something systemic or thematic that we need to deal with? The one-offs don't matter. But if there's a theme, we got to deal with it. And then what would you like to replicate? What can we do more of?
What we all need is more playoff Bob. He had a legendary performance in Game 1, shutting out the prolific Edmonton Oiler offense right here in Sunrise. Game time tonight for Game 2, set for just after 8 when the puck will drop, as the Panthers are now just 3 wins away from hoisting their first ever Stanley Cup. Reporting in Sunrise, Joe Gorcho, CBS News Miami.
Make sure you join us at 7:30 tonight for our Hunt for the Cup pregame show. Mike Cunyo and Steve Goldstein will be in Sunrise previewing the matchup that is streaming live on our CBS Miami YouTube. That's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami and have a wonderful Monday.